And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
We'll take a call from Sandy in New York. Sandy, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Hi, Bobby. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for holding.
I have a 2013 Elantra, and it's a debate that my husband and I always go through, whether to take the car. We had a Honda Accord, a 2010 Honda Accord. We still have that, of course.
Okay.
But the Elantra is my baby, and I want to make sure that she's taken care of well. I don't know whether to take it to the dealer to have the oil changed and tires rotated. You know, they send those coupons out to you
Right.
after you buy the car.
Right.
And or should I take it to one of my local garages, and is it the same?
Well, it's not the same. You know, you're asking someone that's been in the independent service and repair business for 43 years, and quite honestly, we exist because we must give superior, excellent service, because otherwise people would go back to the dealers with their cars. So for me, it's a personal accomplishment. But I will tell you this: it is also it takes a conscious effort and schooling to stay abreast of how to repair new cars. Now, you're not talking about the repair of your automobile, but even just the changing of oil filters and rotating of tires, you have to have people who are trained and people who understand that while you're there, you got to check this and check that. So standard lube, oil, and filters services are not as easy. Let me back up on that. It's not a question of being easy. It's a question of thoroughness or not. I've never, in my 43 years of business, claimed that I could change oil and filter in 10 minutes. I have a serious issue with that, and I've gotten a lot of flack, you know, from fast in, fast out stations, and they'll just have to give me flack. Because when you get to see your doctor, for whatever length of time it takes to get in there, once you get in there, you want to spend whatever time you can, and you want to get advice, and you want to know what that car needs, and you want to check the tread depth, you want to check the gauges, and you want to, well, not the gauges, but you use a gauge to check the tread depth. So I think that you need to choose your service provider by, number one, the trust, the qualifications of the service provider, and how you feel when you take your car there. Is your business appreciated? Because understand this, Sandy, the same gentleman that serviced your car at the dealership, who should be ASE, Automotive Service Excellence certified, are the same individuals that work at independents. In our industry, we shift teams, we shift employees. And this happens quite often. I like to say that it doesn't, but it does. It's like a doctor that is associated with a major hospital, and then you get a group of doctors that go have their own group. You know what I'm talking about in that respect. Yeah. Well, they're the same doctors. They're the same bodies. They got the same hands and what have you. Now, where does the difference come in? The difference comes in with regard to some sophisticated updates on automobiles and some information. Well, all information is available to the independent, like reprogramming, but that costs money. So if you had a reprogramming issue, let's say you got a 13 Elantra, let's say if there was a reprogramming issue, the dealership would have that information more readily available. Now, I'm an independent, so I may sound like I'm urging you to go to the dealer, but I'm not. I'm just giving you both sides of the story. To that end, we have to work harder, and we have to be more focused on service, or the dealers will take all of our business away. And in the bottom line, I'm not worried about that, because, and this is for the dealers to hear, too many dealers take for granted their customers, and they say, hey, no problem, they got a Chevy, they'll come back to the Chevy and get it serviced. Because people do that until the car is out of warranty. That's a common. This is the way the business is. And then once the car goes out of warranty, then they'll find an independent. So really, it's your decision. And if you feel comfortable with the independent is qualified legally. That independent can perform all of the maintenance services required for you to maintain your factory warranty. And that's oil and filter and transmission service and power steering. All of the required maintenance in the owner's manual can be performed by other than the dealer. And that's true since the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act of 1979, and it has more to do with all products and services. I mean, if you've got a Maytag repair or you got a refrigerator or a stove, you don't have to go back to Sears where you bought it to get it fixed. You can go to the local shop because there'd be a monopoly otherwise. In other words, the answer is more than just go to the dealer or go to the independent. It's your decision wherever you are made to feel comfortable, but you need to see the certifications and ask if these people are certified and ASE certified, because that was my next question. I should be able to go and find out if my local garage has this ASE certified. Well, let me make it easier for you. You got a pen? Yes. I listen to you all the time. I know that you give out these websites. Yes, ma'am. Okay. But I've never looked it up. Okay. Well, here's one for you. ASAshop.org. Okay, asashop.org. And ASA is to the Automotive Service Association, is to the automotive service industry, as AMA is to the Medical Association. So I would go to asashop.org. Now, the owners of shops that invest in ASA doesn't mean they're better, but it does show their intentions and that they invest in that organization so that they have the I got to come back. But she had called in and asked should she go to an independent or a new car. And I say to all of you folks out there, it's your money, it's your automobile. You are not required to go back to the new car manufacturer or new car dealer to have maintenance and warranty maintenance performed to sustain and maintain your new car warranty. But I will say this. You should spend your money, number one, locally. You should spend your money with a company that really shows that they care about you and your business. You also should know that a lot of times you will get different stories when you go to a dealership versus an independent. And part of that is because the dealership has obligations as a franchise dealer of any new car to go by the book. And so if the book says, and you open up the book, it's 30,000 miles, it says there are I's and R's. The I is inspect and the R is replace. And so you go down to the page and you look at these things on your automobile that are under the I, and it means inspect, 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 and replace. So you can, if you go by the book, see, and this is where the difference comes in. With my business, if you go by the book, you can say, well, okay, what would a 30,000-mile inspection cost? Okay, we'll go by the book. It would cost you, let's say, $500 for a 30,000-mile inspection. That's replace everything that the book says. Well, that same book is in the same car that's delivered in Washington, state of Washington, as it is in Miami. And I can assure you that the differences in wear, under hood, and tires and exterior are different from a car that lives in Washington, environmentally different. And therefore, the same book could not possibly address the same issues that car needed. So what is the answer? The answer is inspection. And therein lies the biggest rub, because everything that's supposed to be inspected says by the manufacturer, these are items that should be inspected, which means, you don't read this, it doesn't say this, but it means that if you inspect it and you find there's wear, then advise the owner and have it fixed or have it replaced. But it doesn't say that. So if you want to say, what does a widget cost? Well, fine, a widget's $5. Well, Bobby, I want a purple widget. Oh, you didn't say that. Well, yeah, the book says widget to widget to widget. Well, it's not. It's not all the same. It's not black and white. So what we have learned And what we do, especially not on 30,000, but on 60 and 90,000 miles, cars that have accumulated, is rather than go by the manufacturers, we do everything that the manufacturer says, but before we touch the car, we perform what's called an ANI, and we created this, an annual inspection. So, and that's a cost of $90. And you say, well, what does that get me? It gets you a medical report of your vehicle, same thing as your body, things that you should know. And then you have the option, and we create a list. And the reason I share this with you is because this is what it takes to keep a car healthy. And you can pay me now, as you remember, Fram's old, or pay me later. You don't want to be in that position. So how do you keep from being in that position? Take your car in for an annual inspection. And that annual inspection should be, ours is based on a pre-purchase inspection, which is a very thorough inspection. And it gives you, from a professional point of view, another professional set of eyes that look at that vehicle. It gives you the information that you need to make wise decisions, and we categorize the needs of the car. I'm going to the phones, Mike. I'm coming to you in Nebraska, but here's how this works. We categorize it. So if you got a fuel leak, that's number one. Or you got worn brakes, that's number one. If the right rear speaker doesn't work in the car, that could be number 10 on the list, because we prioritize the list of needs of your automobile. And truly, that's what you want. You may have guidelines, and that's exactly what the book is, a guideline. It is not a Bible. So that's what you need when you look for service, whether it's a dealership or independent. And I have really some good friends at dealerships, and I know a lot of service managers, and I know they are conscientious and they do a great job. I also know that they can only do initially what the factory says that they must do to maintain their franchise dealerships and service departments. And so that's it's good on one side, but it can handicap them on the other side. Being an independent service business, we can move quickly and we can move independently. So it's all a matter of what fits you and your car and your pocketbook, and mentally where it fits you and your trust. Earn your trust is what any automotive service shop should do.